in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat. V-Town where guns go boom like Ola Doom. Bullets fly through, hit every wall in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat. Spray painted guard on the intersection of the block. A young pharaoh holding guns praying to Allah that he make it out the war he faces on the daily. Cigarettes and blunts got his mind going crazy. He had a blue nose, fed him milk and beef. Open up the door, he run into the street. Shooters on the couch, chilling out, rolling dice. AK tucked away in a blanket, wrapped tight. Spend his days getting high, watching Afro Samurai. His girl escaped, she don't care if he died. He popped pills till his plug got killed. At Berryessa when they came for him. God's will, his neighbor's a banger, running meetings at his house. Robbed his mom's TV over debt from half an ounce. She moved him out by the end of the month. Scared to death, she was gonna lose her son. V-Town, where guns go boom like Ola Doom. Bullets fly through, hit every wall in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat. V-Town, where guns go boom like Ola Doom. Bullets fly through, hit every wall in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat. The ghetto smells like weed, heme, and gasoline. Fiends shake, trying to chase the H, glass and lean. Cigarette butts litter the gutters under hookers. Standing on the corners, waving to onlookers. As the kids pass her by, they wonder why she half naked at night like the 4th of July. Boom, sirens blare, everybody clear the room. Doing donuts at the light, lost his life at pump 2 in front of his son, across from the graveyard. So he stares in the mirror, practicing, looking hard. Deep scars carved like names on tree trunks. Robbed him for his watch, his chain, and his dunks. Got funked with some punks on the other side of town. Swears if he see him tonight, it's going down. He jumped him out of potty, his partners told him chill. Shot him in the face just to see how it feel. V-Town, where guns go boom like Ola Doom. Bullets fly through, hit every wall in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat. V-Town, where guns go boom like Ola Doom. Bullets fly through, hit every wall in the room. Tires screech in the summertime heat. Gunfire breaks silent nights like a beat.
What's good? We in the building.
Yo, what's
We
good?
in the
What's
building.
good?
Much love. I told y'all we was coming tonight. We had a couple little interviews. This is the third interview. We at the Retro Room, Main Street. This is Pink Hollywood and the Bird of Paradise with Flamingo Fred. And we got, go ahead and introduce yourself, homie.
Yo, I'm Word from Vallejo, California.
Yeah, much love. Vallejo, California in the building. I was
Yes,
tapping in with
sir.
my guy earlier. I seen, because the blog be okay, sending me the interviews and shit. I said, homie got the Vallejo sweater on. You know what I mean? I said, oh, we about to
Yeah,
get it in. You know what I mean? I be happy every time I see my folks, you know what I mean, on the on the interviews and shit like that.
oh yeah, man. It's Bay Area.
That bass shit. Much love. That's dope. So you from Vallejo, like I was telling you earlier. I stayed out with my pops and shit in Rancho and Vallejo, right by Marine World and shit like that. I stayed out there for like 3 years. I always probably came to Vallejo and visited here and there, but I stayed out there 3 years before my pops got a house out in Vallejo. But like you know how the Bay is. We was always in the city, man.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know
That's the spot, man.
we was always in the city. Like, Vallejo got their own shit popping and is doing this thing. But I like I was telling you, I graduated high school off 24th and Mission, in the Mission district, and then all my family businesses and shit like that was in the mall. So we wanted to run amok in the city.
Yeah,
you know, Vallejo, like I came out to Vallejo, used to come, and like I said, go to church. I used to go hoop in Vallejo a little bit, over in the area and stuff like that. That was kind of like chill, but what's it like being from Vallejo, and tell your people your background. I know you was talking about the Filipino culture and
yeah,
stuff like
man. Yeah. So I'm a third generation from Vallejo, man. My grandmother was born out here. On my mom's side, my grandfather helped build the Filipino Community Center
that.
down on the south side. He's on the Filipinos in Vallejo. He's on the back of that cover. A lot of my family has got a lot of history in here. The Dizons and the Cabaguas opened up karate schools. I
Mm.
grew up on the south side and downtown, and then I spent my entire childhood on the east side. And right now I'm on the west, man.
Yeah,
Vallejo, there's not a lot of stuff to do out here, man. There's a lot of just that's why a lot of trouble happens. We end up
yeah.
going outside of town to the city to go to the clubs, go to the strip clubs, go to the beach, just do whatever. Everything is outside of town.
Nah, most definitely, and that wasn't a knock on Vallejo, and I'm glad that I came, and spent my time in Vallejo because they got the E40s and Mac Dre. It's a lot of big game in Vallejo, but being in Frisco, a Frisco kid, by the time we came out to Vallejo, it's like, what is it for us to do? Because we didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
family in Vallejo. We just had, a lot of people was moving out and getting them houses and shit. We didn't have a lot of family out there. So when we came out to Vallejo, it's like, what is it to do in the city? We was going to the Metreon and going to the wharf. We over here. We know how to get all through the city.
Oh
Vallejo,
yeah.
it's like we didn't really know what to do.
Man, Vallejo is if you gotta know somebody to be around, usually it's just a bunch of house parties,
Yeah.
side shows, it's that kind of shit. Everything else, it's not a lot, man. It's not like my parents was around and you had drive-in theaters and you could go downtown and they had malls and all these businesses. The city went bankrupt after the military left all the contracts from Mare Island. Everybody had to get two jobs. It's not spending time at the house. People running the streets, and that's how all that stuff started, man. It's all the crime and all the disparity started.
Most definitely. And like I was telling you, I'm up in Oregon now. I done lived in Arizona. And I want to give people, that's tuning in, a lot of people from Oregon and different places tuning in. I feel like in the Bay Area culture, like a lot of cultures blend together. Like, I don't know, some people like you go other places, it's not like that in Oregon or different places. Like in the Bay Area, the black culture is usually tied in with a lot of the Filipino culture. You know what I mean? A lot of the Mexican culture and stuff like that. And of course, everybody got their own thing and their own culture and stuff like that, but it's more blended in more. When you come up to other places, you know what I mean? It's not like that.
Yeah, I've been outside of Cali a couple of times, man, and I've seen that. It is that Vallejo and the Bay for it is a melting pot. A
Yeah,
lot of blacks, a lot of Filipinos, a lot of Mexicans, a few white people. But
yeah.
especially Vallejo, it started off with just it was mostly black families and Filipinos.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I look back on my hoop team because at one point, I was hooping out in San Bruno for I went out because Pops was sending us to school at Graham's house and shit like that. But my hoop team was me, a couple of the Filipino homies, a couple of the Tongan homies, you know what I mean, and shit like
Mm.
that. We was
Yeah,
hooping,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean. That was
yeah,
that was how we grew up in the Bay. But it's not like that other places, and that's something that I love about the Bay Area.
yeah. Now that wasn't me, man. My friends were hoopers. I was when especially when you're younger, Vallejo, everything is about finding somewhere to smoke. That
Yeah,
that's the hype, man. You just go cop a bag and then you just go drive to the best view spots, find somewhere to chill out, play some music and smoke. And that was kind of the culture that I grew up at least when I was a teenager. Drive my friends to the hoop spots. Again, not really a hooper, man. I'm like Tupac on the sidelines, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Hey, it ain't nothing wrong with it. Different strokes, for different folks, and shit like that. I mean, that's a huge part of the culture. And something you were saying earlier about that commute from Vallejo to the Bay. A lot of people always, you go outside and you live in different areas. They not used to a lot of that commute like that. But in the Bay Area, it's part of that culture. Back then, when y'all was in Vallejo, I bet y'all was hopping in the car. You know what I mean? 4, 5, 6 deep, and making that track to the city with you know what I mean.
Oh, dude,
Everybody in the whip.
at 16 in my first car, my Ford Taurus, man, we head to North Beach the weekend. The college kids, they got the bonfires out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so young high school kids try to go holler at the college girls and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Cause only you would know, and the real city folk. I had this girl. I was doing Job Corps in Treasure
Hmm.
Island. I didn't know how far it was. I made her walk from Point Lobos to the zoo. I didn't know how far. I thought it was close, man. She gave up almost. I didn't know it was that far
Hey,
away.
only thing that's dope though about the city, and this is another beautiful thing in a city that Muni is run all night.
Yeah, it does because we took the Muni back. We took the
That
Muni, and I used
Muni,
to
you
live.
feel
I
me?
used to live on Gary, over by
Okay.
like Eddie and Powell for like a month and a half with my stepdad really when
Yeah,
I was
that's
19. So I know that little area, hopping on the back of the buses to going down to Powell,
yeah.
Metreon, the mall, all that, man.
That's over my
Blondie's.
way. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about that city. That bus run, no matter what mission you was on.
You been out there recently?
Yeah, I've been out there maybe a couple months ago.
How you feel about the shutdowns of the businesses, man?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like the city has changed so much. Like we could say the Fillmore district, for instance. Like my family had businesses in the Fillmore district since the '70s, and I know we don't have the businesses. If you from the Bay, look up Miss B's, JT the Bigger Figure Shot. Beware of those. All the shit. The history. Look it up. But now with the gentrification and all the shit that's happening, I see it in the Fillmore district. And I see it in the Mission District too, which is a huge Latin community. Them is two places I spent a lot of time, but that they moving everybody up out of there, man. It's a takeover. This shit,
Yeah,
this shit ain't the same. I mean, I remember being a kid, man. That shit, the block was like paid in full. You couldn't just come wander. You know what I mean? You had to keep it moving, even if you was through the neighborhood. Like not that they was just on you, but paid in full shit. Everybody was on the block. It's deep. And
yeah.
now, the last couple times I've been, like we see some familiar faces and shit like that, but it ain't nothing like it used to be.
Nah, because at least with Vallejo, we have a small town mentality. The people who have been here for since they were kids, we have this like prideful local type thing in our minds. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people moving from the East Bay and up north, and they're coming to Vallejo.
Yeah,
And a lot of the people from the East Bay is bringing their problems here because we don't conduct ourselves like some of the other folks do. So
yeah,
we got to deal with this new type of not combat, but environment. You know what I mean? We got to deal with this new type of stuff that's being added to the town. Then we got I see the Facebook groups, man. These people been here for 5, 10 years talking about my city, our city. How can we da 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 our city? And you ain't grow up with these people. These people that are in the news doing all this stuff. You didn't go to school with them. You don't know what he went through, and it's that lack of this. You know what I'm saying? They're so
yeah,
it's like you're looking inside your house outside through the window. It's like come outside with us. We've been out here for like since we was children,
yeah,
and it's that kind of like we has that small town mentality. Vallejo. That's why Vallejo is like this because we
yeah.
have that big city ambition, but really do have a small town local mentality. You have to be from like an old family that's been established and people know you from here and there. And folks back in the day, they'll catch you at Safeway. Hey, ain't you a so and so?
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. And then it's
Nah,
not like that no more, man. The more businesses come here, the more gentrification, the more that the culture kind of just is underground now. It's
I
not
mean,
up there
yeah.
in the surface level like it used to be.
Nah, man, I know exactly what you mean. And like, I went down to Arizona for a minute and I bounced around in different places, but I would always come through the Bay. The Bay is pricey, being in the city and shit like that. And then, on top of that in Frisco, how, people getting killed, family members. I got family members getting killed and stuff like that. And it kind of just like changes the whole vibe kind of
Yeah,
for me. My cousin, rest in peace to my cousin, um P, little P, and it just changed the whole vibe. And then you see all these people coming from you don't know where, and they coming over there and they buying stuff up and they making it like coffee shops and mocha latte front, whatever it is on the block. And it's like, a part of it you can't be mad at it because that's how business works. But then again, flip side, like you got to do some shit to retain some of that culture. You know what I mean? You looked at like the Mission District, all of a sudden some of these buildings and shit is mysteriously catching on fire. You know what I mean? And weird shit happening. Then people coming in buying up that property. Like, man, the Mission District, the Fillmore, like these areas been this way for a long time. But that's how they do shit. Eventually, the Bay Area is gonna be all technology based, and you're gonna have to work, all in tech and whatever else to be there. It ain't gonna be no space for the little guy.
yeah,
And we was on some of that original wave, like when my pops was looking to buy a house, because we stayed in Frisco and South San Francisco. You know what I mean? And my grandma stayed in, San Bruno, had a fat house on the hill. You know what I mean? But pops went to go, I guess, buy a house, and we was on one of that first wave of moving out to Vallejo. You know what I mean? We was moving back then, and I remember Sacramento used to be kind of like cool. Sacramento, you go, people was moving there, and then now Sacramento done turned into, everybody and they mama done moved out there and turned that into something else.
Yeah, well, that's LA stuff, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people came from LA up to Sac, and that's why they got that kind of that color culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we that's some
Vallejo, the Bay, it's turf stuff, man. It's neighborhoods, it's sections.
yeah,
But
and
I really am a subscriber of that as is above, so below, within, without, micro,
yeah,
macro. This is all just a microcosm in the city and in Vallejo of what's really happening worldwide, man. What's really going on, and we can see it. We know we're being directly affected by it because we see it trickling down to the very small things like my dude can't get no businesses. How many coffee shops can you open up? You know what I'm saying? How many mineral crystal shops can you open up until you really start trying to do something for the people out here? Some people can open businesses, other people they just gotta give you knowledge and power, and that's basically what I'm doing music for. That's why I'm here, because I can only conduct myself a certain way, and my best way is to give you the truth. Ain't nobody else gonna do it. Well, I mean, 2024, everybody's doing it now, but that's good for me. They clearing the way.
yeah. I mean, it's just like for me, man. I know people that make good money, do different things. My pops sold his house in Fairfield, the house I was talking about. He sold his house in Fairfield, and I've been telling him like, pops, you could take that money and spend it in the Bay, or you could move up out of there, man, and go get you a little, a mini facility. You know what I mean? And it's like for somebody like me, I would love to stay on Ocean Beach. You know what I mean? With me a little property or apartment, or Haight Ashbury or somewhere out the way, and just be Flamingo Fred and hippie it out, man. But realistically, the way them prices is hitting, it's like, man, I'm
Yeah,
gonna stay out, I'm gonna take some of my game on the road.
yeah. If you want to stay in Cali, because I want land. You know, I want self sufficiency. I want my own plants, my own animals, wells,
Yeah,
solar panels, the nine. But like my wife's family in Orville, they got 5 acres. They basically have that. But
yeah,
you trying to get land in California, 500,000, 200,000 for that price, you go probably like Georgia, Alabama, get you
yeah.
like 20 acres with a really nice Forrest Gump looking house for like 500,000.
Man, my partner, he coming over here for the comedy show. I was just saying on the other live, he coming over here for the comedy show next month. Hurricane Andrew out in Atlanta, man. He over there. He's showing me his house and the price he got it for. I was like, geez, they over
Yeah.
there living chunky
Balling.
in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
man.
Like, goddamn. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm up here in Oregon. You know what I mean? I'm just over the California border, so I'm only like 20 minutes away from the California border. You go hit weed,
Oh, you
Shasta
over
and all
by
that.
you over by Shasta. That's a nice
Yeah,
area, man.
it's cool, but it's just kind of I'm from the Bay. It's kind of slow
It's
for me,
cold.
but
It's
it's
cold.
it's yeah, it's cold too. But it's been beautiful for me. I get a lot of love and
Oh yeah.
and tap in and shit like that. But you can get a lot of land and shit over here too. Only thing you got to worry about is the cold weather. But man, for how many acres you can get for what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean they selling acres on payments.
Yeah, and then
A
you
little
trying to get land right outside of Vallejo, you can get some, but you in fire zone now. You never know what
yeah.
could happen. A hot summer come and wipe off your whole property.
Burn all your
Mm-hmm.
shit up, and it'll be
Yeah, and them
gone.
properties is cheap right now. Out in the boonies, that burnt land is real cheap.
Yeah, but you gonna build
Yeah.
on there. You get everything built how you want to, and then
Uh
you
huh.
know, and then the crazy part is you can't really say how some of these fires are getting started.
That part.
Some,
Hawaii.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How's he? I just built this property over here. You know what I mean, and spent this bread up. Now how this fire get started. Nobody knows. So I got
Yeah. It's
cousins
a
like I got some cousins.
lot of
Shout out to
stuff.
my cousins. I got some cousins that stayed in Oakland. They've been in Oakland for years. And one of my cousins like, man, I'm getting up out of Oakland. I'm about to go, down to Arizona because my brother checking traps. He from the Bay. He's an artist as well. He moved to Arizona some years ago. So now I see some of my other cousins, following them out to Arizona. Like, man, we about to go. Man, they gonna
Yeah,
still. My cousin's
Arizona's
like,
cool,
man, they
man.
still gonna give me my salary. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
Down in Arizona.
your front lawn got a bunch of rocks because your lawn don't catch fire in the summertime. I don't know about Arizona, man. It's
Now
hot out there.
Arizona's hot as shit, but
But
it's
I'm
desert.
spoiled, man. Like, cause if you from the Bay, like Vallejo got probably the best weather out of all of the cities. Vallejo's is probably it's cushy. Like that's why everybody moves here is because of the weather and the access to
Yeah,
the ferry and all that other crap. But
Vallejo did
man,
have.
yeah, I'm spoiled, man. You live out here, you spoiled with weather.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been a lot of different places, all up and down the West Coast. I ain't been through the East Coast a lot, but all up and down the West Coast, and even a little bit to the Midwest because I stayed out in Kansas City
Hmm.
one time, for like a year. And maybe I'm biased. I done been to LA and spent a good amount of time in LA. I mean, ain't nothing like the Bay to me. But then again, I'm from the Bay. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's
I'm
biased, man.
biased. You know what I mean? I
you're
love
always gonna be like that, man.
if I could, like I said, if I could go live on the beach in the Bay right now, I would go move, and stay in the Bay.
Yeah.
I love seeing my Filipino people and my black folks and my Mexicans and you know what I mean. The white
How
bees, his
how
hippies
is the
and
diversity out there in Oregon, man? Is it
oh
anywhere
man,
like this,
it's
or you gotta search for it, huh?
it's when you start getting out of Cali, and I noticed this everywhere I went. When you start getting out of Cali, it's diverse. Like up here where I'm at, it really ain't no black people really. Like there's a little like 2% black people. It's a
The
couple
reason my
Asians.
wife won't move to Oregon.
Yeah, like it's uh it's white people, it's natives and it's Mexican people.
Hmm.
And like it's strange that I just wound up here. I wound up here on a mission. Like motherfuckers rock with me. Like I just got one of the personalities where people rock with me and I get a lot of support. But flip side, it ain't like the Bay. You know what I mean? Is you run into different types of obstacles. I still feel like I'm a foreign exchange student. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's cool, but it ain't like they'll rock with me. I'm entertainment. I'm doing my thing. Flamingo Fred is wild, but it's not like we're gonna take him home to daddy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
still I still notice little shit I don't really
Cold
be
blooded.
saying. I don't really be saying anything like they'll kick it with you and you know what I mean, everything else, but it ain't really like, hey, we're gonna, bring you like so it's
No,
little shit that
yeah.
I be seeing. It ain't for everybody, but I'm here taking care of my son. You know what I mean? And I've made it work for me. I mean, I built some shit out of nothing. I mean, I got an office, you know what I mean? Out of
Oh,
record
that's
store. I'm on the main drag in town, black business,
shit. That's
so
beautiful, man. Out there with your
I'm
son, you setting
yeah,
an example for everybody, man. That's
yeah,
dope. You on your own business too? Nah,
yeah, I'm
man. That's
trying, man. I
yeah,
open so how
yeah.
how it works is the homie he owns Retro Room Records. They bring out a lot of celebrities, like they brought out Jamie Kennedy, Malibu's Most Wanted. I got
Word.
Kabir Singh, he from the Bay. He was on America's Got Talent. You know what I
That's what's
mean?
up.
He's supposed to come out here next month, but they opened like a record store, and within that record store, they made like a mini mall. So I was already doing the podcast, so I'm like, man, let me open up a production studio, and I called it. That's where I'm at, Pink Hollywood, and I made a
Hell
nice
yeah.
office up in there. So some bass shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna run with it and try to make it, the
And
best
then
I
you
can.
always tapped into the culture and the music, even if it's Oregon. That's what's up,
Man,
man.
and I'm shining a light on the area. A lot of people didn't know, where I'm at existed, but it's been good for me because you get away from the same surroundings people used to seeing you, and now they go see you moving somewhere else and doing your thing. They like, oh, what's going on up there? And Fred got it popping, and shit like that. Sometimes it's just my journey. A
Yeah.
lot of times I wanted to be in the Bay. A lot of times I wanted to go move to Vegas. A lot of times I wanted to go to LA, but shit just crumbled down how it crumbled down.
You ever read The Alchemist?
No.
It's a good book, man. It's changed a lot of people's lives. Will Smith for one of them, me for one of them. But without getting into most of it, it's a story about following your personal journey to the end, no matter how many
Hmm.
barriers or how good it gets. You could be at an oasis where you have everything, but you're still on your personal journey to that goal. Do you stay at that oasis or do you keep going?
Man, now that's real, and you're gonna have to send that to me because I
Oh yeah, man, The Alchemist. Yo, Paulo Coelho. I think he's
yeah, I'll
from
check
Sao
it out.
Paulo, man. He's
You,
Brazilian. He's an
you
author.
think
He's
they
dope.
have to have it on Audible?
Oh yeah, man, dude, they have it on YouTube. You could
You know
four
what?
hour audiobook.
I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start taking my show and doing movie and book reviews and shit like that because I look it up. Actually, right now on Audible, I'm listening to the original Planet of the Apes because I just went to go see the movie the other day. So
I never read that one.
yeah, I didn't even know it was a book. So
I neither.
it's a French book that was written in like the 60s.
Mm,
That's where they got the whole series from. So once you tell me that, I'm gonna go check out the book, and I've been reading listening to that lately. And
yeah.
you never know where you get different knowledge and information from.
Oh yeah, man. You gotta know a little bit about everything.
Yeah,
Or else that's where that knowledge is power thing comes from. You can know a lot, but if you don't do nothing with it, you ain't got no power with it. But the more you know, the more potential you have for power.
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Like, and that's how I was able to. I feel like that's how I'm able to wiggle. You know what I mean? Because I just got lucky where I got that that field mode game up out of the bay where I was seeing on the turf. But then again, you know what I mean? I was able to dive into these books and move around and do stuff. So a lot of times when I run into these situations where they try to stereotype you and box you in, I hit them with some information, and they don't
Man,
expect that, you know
man,
what I mean, sometimes, and they're like, oh, so you gonna get people that embrace you for that, or they gonna
yeah,
fear you for that, you know what I mean, because
yeah.
they not used to that.
It's and that's some base shit because it's weird that they sleep on us so much, but we're from like the mecca of that. We're from like Black Pantherville, man. There's a
It's
lot of brothers out here that are super educated that got like, how'd you even know how you? They'll put you up on some stuff that you never knew. They'll have stacks of books in the corner of their room, and they live in a trap house. Like you, like, and
and
that's what I think is missing from the youth. Because with the older generation, that kind of shit was cool. The more stuff that you knew, the more game that you could spit on somebody that was like, oh man, his brother got a lot of knowledge. Now it's damn near cool to not know nothing, to not want to know nothing, and
and
that's
and
gotta change, man.
and that's because they we in the age now where they rejecting the OGs. You know what I mean? Like the OGs have always been. There's some OGs that's gonna do shit that's out of pocket, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But OGs was always respected and appreciated, man. I mean, I could think of so many OGs right now that just came and gave you game, and like you said, the Bay Area, we had the Panthers and stuff like that. Like back then, it was always good to have information and read and study this and study that and know how to do different things. Like in my mind and how I came up, like you had to have some street game, but you had to have some book game too. Tie them into together, then you'll be a powerful person. You know what I mean? And I remember one of the OGs in the hood used to come by. I forget his name, but he was real close, with my auntie that passed away. Rest in peace to my auntie Candy. But I remember being a little kid in the mall, a little kid in the hood. He used to came to me and he used to tell me, he said, I never saw crack, it's treason. And I'm little. I'm little, and I kind of knew what he meant, but I didn't. I'm a kid, and what he said obviously is still stuck with me now. I'm like, man, okay. As I grew older, and I started reading Malcolm X autobiography four or
That's a
five
good
times.
book.
You know what I
That's a
mean?
real
And
good
I
book.
start looking at the information. Now I'm like, okay, I get what he said. Why would I sell crack that's treason? You're a traitor.
Yeah, but when you don't have a strong community like that, it means nothing to destroy your community, especially when your community ain't doing nothing for you, and you see that your community has no power. Your community's being oppressed and beat on by outside forces. Like, what point does it mean to protect this if you can't even protect them from them? That's what the Panthers was about, and that's why we
Yeah.
got all these California gun laws because they was trying. We was trying, and
Well,
you see how
well,
that turned out. We have to figure out a different way and how to infiltrate. So
well,
in that way, I think it's more of your mentality. You have to be
most
able to
definitely.
speak life. You can't keep speaking about. We can talk about what's going on, but the more we say like, oh man, they got us down, they got us whipped, this and that. That's what we're reinforcing because we're
Yeah.
speaking it. If we say, yo, you're everything, You come from everything. You come from the hand that creates all everything that's in the
Yeah.
stars is within
Energy
you.
shifted as soon as you said it.
That's what I'm saying, man. So that's what I'm trying to do. When people got my album coming out June 3rd, man, I'm speaking some stuff that other people may be saying what I'm saying, but they're not saying it the way I am because
Most
they haven't
definitely.
been through what I've been through to make. Because when you go through certain types of experiences, certain types of trials of tribulations, and these things make you a certain person.
Yeah.
And whether or not you can prove that to somebody, you don't always get paperwork for that. So it's a really a show and prove type thing. How
Yeah.
can I get this message across? I'm not doing this for money. I understand this is a business and all of that shit, but I never was into music and rap and giving a message out to get paid. Like it's cool, but I know there ain't no money in this streaming stuff. It's all sponsors and all this other stuff.
Oh man.
I'm trying to tell y'all that you're everything. That's why my album is called Omni. You're every. That's my bird. I'm sorry, but
Nah, you good.
you're
The bird got
everything, man.
something to say.
You're not nothing. You're everything. So through that, you can do anything, and that's the overall message, man. How do I make you see how great you are, so you can see how great I am? Because you can't
Yeah.
love others unless you love yourself. You can't see the greatness in others and see the greatness in yourself.
Most
So we
definitely.
start there, then we can get into institutions, then we can get into building our own, then we can get into what are the steps you need in order to get the hell away from everything that's crushing us. And
Yeah.
I know the people who have it, like Arna. Arna's doing a fantastic job, and I can only mirror or parrot what's going on with them.
Yeah. Now, most definitely, you know, coming from the Bay Area, you know, I think people see us having fun, like they seen the hyphy movement, and they see us having fun and doing this, and you know, being outside of the Bay Area, you know, you trying to explain to people what you come from, and I mean, and you can't even begin to explain. That's why we can have such smooth conversation because you know we got that Bay Area in us, and you know you could relate, but people don't understand. Like, there's a reason why they don't let the Bay Area, you know what I mean, in the music game as much as they should. Like E40 had to do a crazy things just to, you know what I mean, be recognized in the music game, and that goes back
Yeah,
what I believe is, you know, the Bay Area is big on revolution. You know what I mean? They know if they bring such and such up out of there, you know what I mean, and the country behind them speaking that message, you know, they might flip on what's going on and start, you know what I mean, speaking, you know, that coded language and get, you know, people activated, you know. And that's why
well,
I feel like they don't never mess with the Bay like that because they like, no, we got too much, you know, history. Like every time something weird happens, you know, we'll go shut the bridge down. You
yeah,
feel
because
me?
you got the Bay will produce people like me who will come and tell you you need a foundation. In order to stand on something, you need to have something solid to stand on. And that foundation is going to be a knowledge of self. And your knowledge of self is your history. People still think that they come from somewhere else, bro. You already home. You been here. For
Yeah.
the Mayans had it at 84, was it 48 octillion years of existence? You understand? There's so that like I keep telling these kids that I talk to, man, like, what do Native Americans look like? They tell them like, nah, bro, they black with dreadlocks. I have the codexes that show the phenotypes of everything. I
Hmm.
American history is black history. It's an Aboriginal history, and
Yeah.
that's the culture of America. The more that people learn this, the more we stop lying to each other and saying that our history begins with a colonial settlership. There was a whole nation and an empire that existed here before that. That's
Yeah.
the heritage. I'm Puerto Rican, man. I got my little dumbass ancestry DNA. I got my little Taino bloodline, my indigenous Puerto Rican, my indigenous Colombian, my Senegalese, and I know where those people come from. My DNA tells a story. We always identify with the people who came and conquered us, threw our
Yeah.
jurisdictions out of place, denationalized everybody, and genocided everybody. And then those are the people that you decide to side with. Everything about their culture, the way that they think, establish your own. You establish your own by learning about where it was to where you are now, and then we can move forward. But if we keep adopting everything that keeps getting pushed in our ear, we ain't gonna have no knowledge of self. You ain't gonna have no self. You're gonna be them.
Yeah.
You
Most
gotta be
definitely.
you.
Now, most definitely, and I think, you know, Um, I think everything will prevail because the real going represent itself. Like we in the age now with all this technology and different things, and I think it's beautiful to use the technology and different things in the right way. But I also feel when it's all said and done, it's gonna have to come back home. And what I mean by come back home is people gonna have to tap in with each other, and it's gonna come to a point where we gonna start appreciating people again more than this technology and different stuff, and finding out history and all this stuff. But we gonna go that route where we deep in this technology, and they talk about transhumanism. I've been telling people about that. Everybody don't know about that, but it's basically humans meshing with machines and stuff like that. That's big, and that's the route we're going. But you got to figure out who you are, and tap in and everything like that. It's essential, and but that'll be the difference between being in the Bay Area, and being in other places. Because even in Arizona, where they got different cultures and different things like that, you know what I mean? There's, it's a different thing, and that's why I believe they don't rock with the Bay Area as much, because the Bay Area bring everybody together from all different backgrounds, and
Hmm.
be like, wait a minute, and be out in the trenches. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah, because they'll mix race and then they'll think that that's culture. And no, it's just what you are. It's your ethnicity. Your culture is a whole different thing, man. It's the way you walk, the talk, the way that you think about things, the way that your morality is when you look at stuff. When you share that with somebody else, that's a culture. Doesn't. It has nothing to do with skin color, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Like we all have our history. A lot of people came to the Bay Area from the South. Like my grandparents, that's what people. It's not that far removed. Like my grandparents came from Arkansas, where they was sharecropping, picking cotton. You know what I
Yeah, and
mean?
people don't even know that the South belonged to the Aboriginals and the Moors. That cotton, hemp, and tobacco are American Aboriginal crops that they taught that to the Europeans. How are they going to know how to plant this, harvest this, when to do that? They learned everything. Everything that America is, they learned from the people that were tribes and holding jurisdiction on that East Coast. They crept their way in.
Yeah,
Check out
most.
Dr. Ali Muhammad, man. I'm a Namataka Shi Ali. He's got all these books. I've been learning from this man for years.
Hmm.
You understand? Like, and once we again can get into the whole inside and how powerful you are, then we can start implementing this knowledge.
No, no, most definitely. I'm all about growth, and coming to Oregon for me. I was running and gunning a lot. And I feel like we had talked about previously. We talked about our journey and the path we're on, and a lot of people. I got a lot of friends, family and stuff like that, and they're like, man, why are you up there, and why are you this and that? And I try to explain to people like, yeah, it is slower. Yes, I do miss my family. I miss this, I miss that. But I feel like I came here for a reason, and there's a lot of people in my surroundings that, see me as a minority out here motivated doing my thing. And I get weird energy because of that, because they're like, why I'm not doing it. But I feel like I came up here for a reason, because it took me away from the city, because I was running and gunning, and not that I was in any trouble, because I always did what I had to do, and stayed out of the trouble. Because and one of the ways I feel like I always stayed out of trouble was I kind of stuck to myself, and you know stayed out of the mix and wasn't doing stupid stuff. I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. You know what I mean? I was just moving and grooving, and doing my thing. But I feel like who knows if I was, stayed down there, or, was in LA and Orange County and running here and running there. Who knows? Maybe I would have been in the penitentiary. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
I would have ran into some trouble. Maybe I would have been feeling myself too much and thought I was, above everything. And, you know what I mean? Uh, Cross paths with the wrong person. You know what I mean? So, as much as I get bored and this, and that. I spent a lot of time focused on self. You know what I mean? Trying to be my best version, trying to grow, trying to do things, and really reflecting on myself and who I am and how to be better.
Yeah, man. You got to trust that the process trusts you too. And it's going to send you where it needs to send you. And when you listen to your gut and your heart, your head will tell you you need to go. And when you're tapped into everything, you're going to feel that connection and you're going to go where the process or the universe sends you to go. And when you get there, you may know what you need to do. You may not. It may take some time to figure it out, but you're there for a reason. You always run into people, run into situations, go into places for a reason. It's our journey. Everybody's different, man. Everybody's got their own mission that they have to accomplish. You from the mission, you know.
Yeah. Well, I spent some time over in the mission going to school with, the Norteños and stuff like that. And
Man, hey man, that like I said, I was stomping around for like 6 months in the city, just learning the bus system. Sometimes I would
yeah.
walk, like I walked from what was it, Hayden Ashbury all the way down to Trans Bay Terminal one day, just hoofing it.
Mm,
And yeah, like those are walks, man. Like it was good that you from the city. You know how far that distance is from Golden Gate Park to the Trans Bay Terminal. That's
yeah,
a hoof, bro.
I'm on the Muni or the BART. I'm not doing,
Man,
you know
yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
I'm walking the streets, dude. So I saw all of that, man. Like I at Dolores Park watching the hula hoopers, dudes playing frisbees, people coming through with the truffle stuff, man. Like you know, what I mean, hopping on Bart, hopping the Fairgate and shit, getting caught
And,
hopping the Fairgate, having to like
and
it's
you know what's crazy though?
it's fun, man. I can't lie, man. That whole just being by yourself or with somebody else, just doing that, it's so fun, man.
I
I
don't know
I
it.
can only
I don't know how
imagine
much
the people in the city, man, how they get down
man. I don't
daily.
know how much they changed it now, but man, I haven't caught Muni in some years, but man, back then you could have no money and hop on the back of Muni. You know what I mean? Every
Yeah, but
now and then you'll get
don't
one of
get
them.
caught over by that college in those certain areas, though,
Hey,
man.
every now and then you'll catch a bus driver that'll flex on you and be like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
"Come to
yeah.
the front. You didn't pay this, and that." But most of the time, depending on where you at, like you said, don't be by the college. Depending on where you at, you can hop that Muni.
Don't be
You
by
know what I
that
mean,
college.
and get where you going with no money around the city. You
Yeah,
know what I
over by
mean?
that
So
McDonald's. You know exactly what McDonald's taught. That McDonald's by that college, man. Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man. A lot of times I was in a mission, like you catching the bus on the mission. There's so much commotion going down on the mission between like 24th and mission, 16th and mission, catching that, back up the way.
Yeah.
They ain't even gonna try to give you a hard time. They gonna
See,
let you.
I always hung out by like Pals and fucking Blondies and Gary Street and that area,
Blondies.
and especially like North Beach and Japantown. Like I was up and down Gary.
Japantown is popping too. Like
Oh man, my
Japan.
son loves Japantown, man. The pagoda, man. That's yeah,
Hey man, we used to go to me and my little brother. We used to go. Of course, they got the Kabuki Theater. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and they used to, we used to go to Japantown and get the Pokemon cards. You know what I mean, and everything like
Oh
that.
yeah, man. My
You
son
know,
goes down there. He gets they got the sword shop. He loves getting the swords and the kunais. And I like
yeah,
going to Pier 39 for Trish's Donuts. That's my spot, man. Trish's is shout out to Trish's Donuts, Mac. Damn it.
man,
That's the stuff, dude.
the third,
Big
yeah,
old buckets.
everything Pier 39 is, man, fire, and all the stuff. And like you was talking about off the show, you asked me, you said, man, I see your name is, Flamingo
Yeah,
Fred,
man.
and
How did you choose Flamingo Fred? What made you Flamingo? Like I know FF, Flamingo Fred Rose nice, but why Flamingo?
yeah, like when I first started out, man, I was moving and grooving in the streets and doing this and doing that and doing music. I used to go by Wreck the Rebel. It really had started with Wreckage the Rebel. Shout out to my cousin Leon, aka 50 Cal. But when I first was coming up, they had I wanted to be Fred Wreck, you know what I mean? Because my full name is Frederick, but I was like, there's already a producer named Fred Wreck. I thought that was the dopest name ever. I'm like, damn, I'm looking him up on Google. I'm like, how he get this name? His name ain't even Frederick. Like I thought, man, Fred Wreck, man, that's the perfect
Oh
name. And my
man.
brother, Check It Trap, shout out to him. He like, man, you a rapper, you should go by Fred Wreck too. I'm like, nah, man. So I start going by Wreckage the Rebel because it Wreck was really short for Frederick. But then I was running around and moving and grooving, and everybody thought like Wreck like was just, man, I was just coming to tear shit up, like just in
Yeah, it
a
sounds
negative
like it,
way. Like
man. It sounds
like
like
I
some
had
helter
people scared.
skelter
I had
shit.
people scared of me before they ever met me because they like, oh, Wreck about to come. Oh, Wreck, I'm like, and a lot of people still do call me Wreck, but I was like, man, I got to go on to the other vibes, and I used to be like, I don't know where it came from, just like early on when I remember being like at a party, like at a house party with like a bunch of females and stuff. We chilling and drinking. I'm like, the flamingo, like just on some bay making shit up. You know what I mean? Hey, baby, it's the flamingo. Next thing, you know,
Yo,
next
yeah,
thing I know, I'm in the house
yeah,
party. The beezy's like
yeah.
flamingo,
That's
and
how that shit starts. That's how.
you know,
Oh
just some
man, that's
base shit,
classic.
winging it, throwing shit
Yeah,
out. And then
that's
some
hilarious, man.
years have passed, and they kind of always stuck with me, Flamingo.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I need to just be Flamingo Fred. I'm gonna switch up the urban hippie vibes and just have the 80s aesthetic and do my thing. And it just
I fucking love it. That's dope.
the
That's a
reception, you
dope
know,
story, man.
it's the perfect Bay shit. You know what I mean? If you know
Yeah,
about the Bay,
man.
a lot of them don't understand because really,
It really that's how it really be, dude. You used to be at a party, just lit. You say some slick shit to some girls or
hey, I
somebody, and
had
then
the
it just
whole
that name stick with you.
all the little beezies was Flamingo. We in there lit, and it has stuck with me for like some years. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it was kind
man.
of hard at first because you know if you're not from the Bay, like I always tell people about the Bay, like LA is more gang banging, they hella tight.
Yeah.
But I always
Yeah.
tell people about the Bay. In the Bay Area, it's like animated. It's animated gangsters. Like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is real animated, but they still gangsters. So when I first started telling people like I'm Flamingo Fred, they like Pink and this, and that. They thought I was on some, you know,
Yeah.
some other
Nah, man.
vibes, and I
Flamingo
had to
Fred
like, nah,
sound
man.
that
If
sound
you
like a DJ in the '80s or something,
you
man.
know what I mean? I had to set them straight, like, nah, man, it's Flamingo Fred, you know what I mean? And if you're from the Bay and you know the vibes, you know, the
Oh
hippies and
yeah.
it's just it changed everything for me, bro. It's the reception that I got from people was so much different than being wrecked. Like
Yeah.
people's kids, like people would bring me toys, people bring
Speak
me
life, right?
yeah, people bring me souvenirs. Like I've
Yeah.
had people like like I can only show you. I brought some of this shit in. Like I got, and a lot of this
Oh
shit,
man, I
like,
bet you got mad flamingo swag now. You
bruh,
probably had years to collect.
people just be bringing me shit. Like I've had people be like, "Yeah, I was out with my son and they found a
Yeah,
flamingo and they said this would be great for flamingo friends." So people
but
like bring me
that's
beanie
dope
babies and
as shit, though, man. That's dope
and,
as hell. Cause you've this like your own brand or something,
bro,
man.
I'm like, I gotta just be me. And so like now I'm working with this producer. He sent me this tape, and I just embraced the vibe. He sent me like 10 beats and I'm gonna make it an album, but it's all like some 80s vibe, but some hip hop. You know what
Some
I
like
mean?
synth retro, heavy
Yeah, it's like
bass.
synth retro, but
Yeah,
hip
that's what's
hop.
up.
Like it sound like a soundtrack to like some Wolf of Wall Street type shit, like some
Uh huh.
80s boardroom. You know what I mean? So
Driving in the squared out Lamborghini down the
yeah, like
freeway hella quick.
bro. So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, I'm about to just keep pushing the line. And to be honest with you, I love it. It's fun. I could just vibe and be me and just do my thing. It's of course I had that wreck the rebel, and that I got my militant side where I be in all black in the hoodie, but I also got that Bay Area. You know what I mean? Hey man, you know what I mean? That extra just sauced outside, so it works.
Yeah, it does, man. It's good, man. It's good.
It works. So we gonna keep pushing the line. So I'm gonna be looking forward to your project, man. Make sure we gonna stay tapped in. Make sure you get that. Where we gonna be able to listen to that project at?
Man, Spotify, YouTube, Apple. I'm gonna try to make sure I put it on SoundCloud when I can. I'm through United Masters. All that
Okay.
stuff is gonna be my
How's that
IG.
working
I got
for
all the
you?
links. United Masters.
Yeah.
I honestly, man, it was because of the royalties that they
Mm-hmm.
told me that they was gonna get is why I'm messing with them.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you some shit because you have to email them every time you want something on SoundCloud. So I also
Mm.
had to get SoundCloud Pro because I need to be able to control my own stuff.
Yeah.
So I have to have United Masters and SoundCloud Pro. I could distribute through SoundCloud if I wanted to, but I use United Masters. So I have the option of both, man.
Yeah.
And it's I like their interface, it's cool, but like I said, I'm not really doing it for money. So it to me, it
Mm-hmm.
didn't really matter where I went. I just wanted to make sure on the back end my business was looking right. Even
Yeah.
if the business wasn't going to yield too much, I just want to make sure the business is looking right. All the copyrights are good, the publishing is straight, royalties look straight, and that's all good. I just want to make sure that business is good. United Masters is nice, man. I don't hear a
Yeah,
lot of
I've been
complaints
hearing a
with
little bit
them.
about it. I've been using like DistroKid, and
And yeah, I heard a lot about because Curtis King. I watch a lot of Curtis King. He be talking about Distro Kid and TuneCore and really
yeah,
pushing that like what LaRussell's doing because LaRussell's from Vallejo. Shout out to LaRussell. He's doing a lot of stuff out here,
man,
man. But for the
LaRussell,
is for the independent people as well, it's showing people the platform, the game, the blueprint. But people are now more pushing towards that Bandcamp and that even where it's direct to consumer type thing.
yeah,
And for
because
me, it's cool, but I don't have that kind of fan base, and I'm really just trying to get that message out there to whoever. Like you have to spend $10 with me, man. $4, you get the album in India. You know what I mean?
yeah, nah, most definitely. Um, yeah, most definitely. It's how do I know we talked about it earlier? Sorry, somebody had hit me, but this streaming, man, that's why. Let me say something right quick. Like I'm 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 being who I am. Flamingo Fred. I got my vibe. Like I love 80s movies. I love, you know what I mean? I love all the 80s shit. It just so happened to blend together. But it also helps me get my merch together and try to sell it to people. And the reason for me, I feel like that's important is because I streaming is trash to me. It's a
Mm,
beautiful thing that we could showcase our music and what we're doing and all this shit to people around the world.
hmm.
But you know,
As far as the dollars and cents goes, man, it's a different story. It's all merch, tours, sponsorships, other business revenues and stuff. Unless you big time like I don't even want to use dude's name here. Unless you're like Taylor Swift, then you ain't gonna be able
yeah,
to break through that certain threshold. And as an artist, you know all about that. I had to do a hard learning curve for like a whole year, just dipping and diving into this industry because I
man,
started when I was 16. I dropped out, had a microphone in my closet, thinking I was gonna be a rapper. Thank God I didn't do that back then because I was on some bullshit.
yeah,
Now my
most
mind's right. I'm 33 and it's time. So I'm moving correctly. That's why the universe is allowing me to get to this point to where I'm interviewing with you. If I wasn't coming correct, this wouldn't be set up this way.
Nah, man, most definitely, man, most definitely. Like, the streaming, like we did over 1 million streams before with my group Team Conquest Firstborn. Like
That's
we
what's
did
up.
over 1 million before, and it ain't
Nothing.
really. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
nothing,
some
right?
little bit of change, but you know what I mean. You ain't on MTV Cribs, so you
No.
know it's it's.
And
I mean, I
but
remember an era like, and shout out to my bro Checking Traps. Like we was selling CDs, man. We was on foot hand to hand, and I could go out in a day, you know what I mean, and make $100, $200 selling CDs. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Now, how many streams does it take you as an artist to go make $200?
Damn. You know what? My man's does music. My best friend's my brother. And he's got over like 100,000 streams, all of his songs on SoundCloud. I think he
Mm-hmm.
pushed like 100 last year
Yeah.
total. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I I just know,
It's
man. I just know
it's
this. It's not. I'm
peanuts.
not doing it for. I'm not doing it to get paid. I'm not doing it for the reasons that everybody else is doing this for. I
Well, you
legit have something that I need to tell y'all, and
well,
it's that has literally been burning. Like I have to do this way. Every other way that's been brought to for me, all my who I consider peers are actually also my teachers. It shows me if I do it that way, they gun me down in cold blood on a
mm-hmm.
podium somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get the one on one that is my bread and butter since I've been a teenager of doing this one on one stuff? How do I do that on a massive scale? The
Most
only way
definitely.
you can get, I could do it on a book, but you're going to hear my words in your voice. Not going to have my inflections or my tone. How can I give you all of me personally on a map? So it's the record. It's what I'm saying. If you listen to the way I'm saying it, all the entendres, the inflections, the tones, the aggression, the sadness, you'll get all of it. Then you can
Yeah.
rewind it back and you can replay it for life. And you can get all of my knowledge concretely packed and just given to you. And that's the best way I know how to do it. Every other way, man, they killed Malcolm, they killed Martin, they killed
Nah,
Gandhi, they killed
nah,
Pac, they killed Nipsey. You
most
understand? I'm
definitely.
cut from that cloth.
And
And
I
but I
make
can't move that way. I have to learn from the mistakes of the past.
and I make music because I love creating, and I try to get people to capture my vibe. Like I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain it, but I got this energy within inside me that I can feel, and I think it's always helped me be social and have ideas and create and be colorful. And I've always wanted to, you know, help people feel that vibe. But it's different flavors, and it's like martial arts. Everybody got a different technique. You know what I mean, and how they do it. And I tell people all the time, money isn't everything. Most definitely, I feel personally, you need money to be able to get your message and do certain things and build this and build schools or whatever. But we all got different paths on how we want to do it and what we think, and it's nothing wrong with that. We need people like you. You know what I mean? People like you are very important. We need people like me. We need people. You know what I mean? And it all comes together and helps in a different way. You're gonna be able to reach people I can't reach, and I'll be able to reach the other people that you can't reach.
that's
But
right.
as long as we on that same team and come together like Voltron, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
communication
beautiful.
and collaboration is everything they trying to keep us from doing. And that's the best, that's the way that the people at the top conduct themselves. Communicate and collaborate.
Most definitely, most definitely. So I think you had an idea. I'm in a record store right now, and shout out to Jim. He helps. He runs this record store. It's called Retro Room Records, and
I'm gonna
I
check it out
just
if I'm up there, man. I think I know what town. I ain't gonna shout you out like that, but I think I know what town you out
yeah,
because I
we
got a
gonna tap in, and if you
yeah,
ever come.
I got a partner up there. He says he's Native American. He's a Native American dude up there. If I'm ever up there, I'm gonna check out that record store,
Now
man. I
we
love
gonna
record stores.
yeah, if you ever come up this way, we gotta tap in, man, and go,
Definitely.
sit down and do the thing. But I've been watching the retro record store and how they move, and much love to him, for putting this thing together. But man, they selling CDs. They selling a lot of CDs, and these vinyls is flying off the shelf, and people
Uh
is
huh.
coming to get these cassettes. So to all the artists and shit out there that's like streaming and this and that, man, go get you. I just talked to him, man. I'm about to go get vinyl. I'm about to go get CDs pressed up, and I'm about to go get cassettes because we're in an era where people want to hold on to this shit physically. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They want to go listen to your record, or they might just want to go hang it on the wall. Like, man, he's selling shit, records and shit like hotcakes, and we're in a small town. So in a bigger
Yeah.
city, it's happening too. So don't count yourself out, man. You go get some physical merch because that
Oh no,
five,
I
10.
got plans for that too, man. Especially all the yeah, I got
No, I'm
plans for
not
that
just
too.
saying you. I'm
You,
just saying to the world
everyone.
in
Yeah.
general. Don't count that out because that $5, $10 that you can make off that merch. You know what I mean? How many streams would that take you? That's gonna take you a lot of streams, and it's up to you to go out there and push your brand and go sell yourself and have communication and everything like that. Like that era ain't done. It's coming back,
Yeah. Yeah, because you get about what, 5,000 streams, like $5,
man.
something like that, roughly, man,
if
roughly,
if if that when all you
if
got to
that.
do is get one person to buy your physical project, but because that goes what I was saying earlier. Yeah, we're getting all this technology and the metaverse and virtual reality and games, but there's a lot of people.
Tangibility,
Yeah,
man.
there's a lot of people that are craving to hold something, you know what I mean, in their hand. You know what I mean, to hold something that belongs to them, that they can feel, and it's not up in the cloud somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because somebody can delete that. You can't delete a physical CD.
It's over. It's over.
That's right. Everything
So
shuts down. I still got batteries in a CD player, man. I'm straight.
much love. Much love on that. So I appreciate you tapping in, my brother. You know what I mean? We gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I can
Oh
sit here
yeah,
and talk
man.
to you. I'll sit here and talk to you all night. We gonna have to do this again soon, man. I would like you to be a regular and tap in with your
Oh,
boy on
no
a
doubt,
regular
man.
basis on the show, man. And
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
no
The
problem, man.
vibes is right, man. The vibes is
Yeah,
right, man.
we just getting started, man. So I'm gonna tap in
Yes,
with you off
sir.
air, hopefully to get you back on here soon, man, and make sure I get a hold of that project when you got it.
Oh yeah, man. June 3rd, man. Watch out
June
for it. It's coming.
June
Omni.
3rd. So much love to you, homie. I appreciate you. This is Word, everybody. He got his
Word.
project dropping June 3rd, and we gonna tap in soon. Much love. We out.
Much love, man.